You are not starving, hopefully. You don't have any physical threatening pain. So there's no reason right now for you to be in this room and suffer. But it's absolutely possible that you're sitting there and inside your mind, you're still thinking about, let's say, the fight that you had yesterday with your partner. The conflicts, the arguments that yesterday you had, and then he said that, and I said that, and then whatever. Well, that means then it's possible that you're suffering, but you're suffering because of thinking. You're suffering because of something immaterial, of something that doesn't even you cannot grasp it. And then I tell you, just let go. Just forget about what happened yesterday. Come back to the presence. The presence is right now here in the room. If you are able to do this, suffering gone. But it's not easy to do it, which is why it needs to be practiced. To let go of the thoughts. Ultimately, the hardest that maybe a human being can think of, in a way, is to let go of whatever you have created.
That first arrow is the fact of you walk through this lifetime, you will encounter things that in the first moment are going to hurt you. It's going to happen to all of us. But now the question is, after something like this has happened, how are you going to cope with it now afterwards? Many people are still dwelling in the past, carrying the suffering and the pain from that event still with them. Even if a month has passed, a year has passed, 10 years have passed, it's still there. This is the literal example for remaining too much still in the past. And this is the second arrow, for example. When you start walking through this lifetime, every human being is going to encounter different moments, different situations that are going to trigger something that most of us would regard as unpleasant. This is already the beginning where we are saying, walking through this lifetime, you will encounter suffering in many, many different variations. Even going to the doctor, going to the dentist, having a surgery, hitting your knee against something. This type of suffering is especially hard when it now comes to the loss of beings. So meaning if you had a very close relationship to an animal, if you had a very close relationship to your parents or to a beloved one, and then this person passes away, there is also the suffering of this loss. So the bottom line for all human beings is, when we are getting born and start walking through this lifetime, we are going to encounter suffering. You could say, yes, this is the normal way of life, so there's no way around it. We need to find the state of being free of suffering in the here and now, in the moment, regardless of what you are doing. To experience the states of being free of suffering. One way to cultivate this are the so-called meditative practices. Literally put you simply in the here and now. Being in the past too much, thinking about what happened to you last year, how people insulted you last year, what you lost last year. So that means right now, the two of us talking, but my mind being in the past is one way how I can at the moment suffer. But the fact is, it happened last year, but right now you're still suffering. Why? Because your mind is in the past. Now we don't know what the future is going to bring. I don't know how this year is going to evolve, in which countries the next war is going to break out. Oh, what's going to happen next week? What will I do when they come into my country? So at the same time, you can recall the sufferings also by spending too much time jumping into the future. So being in the past, being in the future, both of them are already sources where you're going to find suffering. As long as there is separation existing, separation from the present to the past, from the present to the future, from you to your surroundings, from good and bad, from having and losing, from living and dying. So the more your mind is based on either this or that, the more you see this separation, the higher the chances are If you cannot find a way how to unite them, then it is automatically related to suffering. And so there's only one way how to reduce it, at least personally for everyone. Everything that you can observe in your lifetime, that you can observe from the moment you wake up in the morning, everything we are regarding as separated, figure out a way how to find the proper perspective and unite them. See that everything belongs together, regardless of if you like or dislike, because this is also separation, liking or disliking. Number one, you figure out your own personal way how to ensure that you are starting to love this life, to appreciate the time that has been given to you, to enjoy actually what you yourself are doing. That is the number one of greatness. And then after you have discovered that this is the way, that you liberate yourself to fully enjoy what chances have been given to you in living this existence. This is number one. Then the second one is spread the message that other people discover the same. I think there's nothing bigger, more sustainable, more purposeful, more peaceful, more heart-fulfilling than these two things. You are feeling good living this life, and you make other people feel also good to live their life. And so at the end, everybody feels good living their life, problem solved. That's the greatness.
A challenge in life, a conflict that comes up, everything that makes you feel uncomfortable at the first glance, it's nothing that is depressing you. It is something where you actually realize that is the next area of my growth. Because it's heartbreaking, because it is so heartbreaking, because it goes so deep, it carries the potential for the highest transformation. So this type of change of perspective, if you want to see it bad, it's going to be bad. But if the circumstances right now are like this, and with the mindset which is in your hands, you can still transform it somehow. The highest transformation can happen. And this is, I think, the value. This is why I like so much in the Buddhist teachings. Number one sentence is, with our thoughts we create the world. The circumstances are not going to change. What happened to you is not going to change. But dependent on how you are tuning your thoughts, something about it is going to change. This is why the power of the mind is so important. Because it is ultimately outside there, the wars, everything is not going to change. Because it's not dependent on what you want. You can only determine what is going to be the consequence of what comes to you. How will you transform it? Will you let it stuck inside of you and it slowly eats you up from the inside? Or do you make something different about it? And this is based on the thoughts, on the mental redirectioning of yourself. Yeah, this world that we are living positive, but I know it's going to change. Things are changing. Nothing ultimately stays as it is. That's why I'm not sure if it is a positive mindset that I would propagate. My mindset would be that you are neither stuck in a negative one, but you're also not stuck in a positive one. So your perspective, your mindset would be one that at all times always sees actually the exchange of this one and this one. And sometimes, out of circumstances, out of whatever reasons, sometimes it's more based upon here. But then you also know just a question of time, I move here. So to understand the interplay of these two and accept it actually that also the negative part is part of my life. As long as I also take care that it doesn't stay for a too long time in my life, I can have my bad days. Because to push yourself in having positive thoughts, be optimistic, can also sometimes be like you see people do it, but you can feel they're not. They behave like everything would be great, great life, but I can see inside it's not. You have to be as you are, based with all two forces. It's just that stay calm, nothing stays as it is. See the interplay always of both forces and then get calm about it.
and regulated. And then, somewhere along the line, maybe it becomes balanced then.
You become very, very sensitive, whatever seems so existence. Type of approach.